What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Quantum Show. It's been a hell of a week, and for me, a hell of a few days. So, welcome to the chat. Tim, Scream Engine, Sarah, Aussie the Boss, Diane, Dorothy, and I believe that's everybody for the moment. Agents, aliens, John, no memes. You got in there with the aliens. And everybody here, thanks for coming by. I've got a bit of a heck of a topic to talk about tonight. Now, this is all about the Epstein files. I hate this topic. I don't want to talk about the files themselves. Read at your own risk. Okay? So there you go. This is a structured show. I did research. I've been thinking about this. And this is really the Muggles have come in on my territory, okay? On our territory. This whole stuff is using dark side everything. They are using the dark side. I don't like it. I respond with the light. However, the light needs teeth, okay? So I want to first say I am not I'm going along with the structure, okay? I've said my welcomes. I've said a little bit of a disclaimer, and we are all light people, okay? Us here in our chat room, wherever you're from, we work for the side of the light, and the light includes justice, whether it's legal or not, right? Okay. So I would, I got to go into this and say, I'm not an expert on government. I don't like the topic, right? I am not into it. I don't comment on political anything, okay? Unless it intrudes. And boy, did it intrude, okay? The dark side coming in, oh, that's big intrusive. Okay, big intrusive. We've been hearing about it for years. And I'm not here to talk about any individual or speculate on anything going on right now. In a way, I am, because it needs to be done, right? It needs to be done. And we're the ones who are paying for it all anyway. So who do we have? Now, how am I qualified to talk about this at all, right? Now, the show, our auditors, that's a hint at what I'm getting at. Not First Amendment. Very good guess, but not First Amendment. Okay. Well, I audit paperwork for a federal agency, right? I'm just saying I do. I make sure the rules are being followed, procedures being protocol is in place, references are there, and there are no blank spaces, right? You know, government paperwork. Why do you think I love the quantum so much? Because that is reality for me. Now, um, I want to talk about the auditors. Okay. Now, I need to talk about the why do we need good auditors, right? And I'm not going to I'm going to straightforward it for you, right? First of all, first of all, our government is corrupt. The release of the Epstein files is showing that our government is corrupt through and through. Some of them don't even know what they're doing. Okay. Some of them don't even know they're going by a lawless system because somebody above them is telling them what to do. Enter our auditors. And I can only think of one group that we have on staff already. There's going to be a second group, but I'll work up to that, right? I can't look at the chat right now. I want to get this out there, right? We'll talk about this in the panel, which I am betting will be very animated tonight. I only ask that we don't step on each other. We don't interrupt each other because that just it stops the flow of information, right? So let's not do that anymore. The only group of people that I can think of without forming another corruptible group like Judge Frickin' Dredd, and we know how that worked out, is, believe it or not, the IRS. Will the IRS save our structure of government? Will they? I think they might be the ones to ask because they follow rules, they follow laws. Now, I know nobody, you know what? You know why? Another reason on balance is nobody likes the IRS. Nobody likes it. The government, the corrupt government, thinks they don't take enough. The people who get taken from think they take too much. Rich people don't want to give them anything. So everybody dislikes the IRS. However, who has never had an auditor? I mean, in the world, I don't like addressing the world. I don't like addressing the world. But who has never had an auditor? Let's look. I've got a whole page of who had auditors and why. And they were to see who was following the law and not, a diagnostic, if you will. Okay. Verification of truth, not right or wrong, just what is there, right? Now, I will just read this. Ancient Egypt. Role belonged to the scribes of the granaries, people who track grain in and grain out, ensuring that the pharaoh's wealth and the kingdom's food supply wasn't quietly siphoned away through through greed. Right, greed. Read through keeping greed. They weren't priests or warriors, they were counters, record keepers. That's pretty freaking cool to me. I like that. Rome had the idea with the censors, right? The officials whose job was to maintain the census, oversee public morals, and crucially, audit the financial affairs of the elite. Sound like we need them so far? Sounds like it. They understood we still struggle with this today. Power without oversight becomes self-referential and delusional. Okay? So China, now we know, now I'm talking ancient China, right? Elevated the concept with the imperial censorate, a bureaucratic body empowered to investigate corruption at every level of government based on the laws of the time. These censors reported directly to the emperor, bypassing local power structures entirely. The existence was a structural admission that even the most sophisticated systems drift towards decay, corruption, unless someone is watching, auditing, and providing a valid checks and balance, right? All right. Now, medieval Europe, here's where it gets a little dicey, right? I had the tally stick auditors who used notched wooden sticks to track debts and payments. System so resistant to tampering that it lasted for centuries. Not that it was the greatest, but it was something. And this is the Dark Ages, okay? Talk about Dark Ages. The stick didn't care about politics, it cared about the truth of the numbers. A bean counter or a stick notcher, right? Now, modern corporations, though, they have compliance departments and HR, human relations, right? Excuse me, human resources, not relations, human resources. What I say only on the Quantum Show. They keep the machine from eating itself based on the rules decided by some sort of a governing cabinet of members, a sitting council of investors, or something, right? They don't make headlines, but the structure would collapse under its own incentives and programs. And Here's what I like. In the United States, whether we like it or not, whether we understand it or not, and this is important, right? The IRS is the inheritor of this ancient lineage of auditors. They don't care about politics. They don't care about goals. They care if the rules are being followed. They don't even care who's making the rules. So we need the IRS to look and see, do these rules make sense based on the rules that came before them and the rules that are? I do believe the IRS. Now, the IRS, while they are armed, they can be armed. They're not a great. You see an IRS guy, and you don't think I'm a little bit worried about stuff. You lock your door, you pretend like you're not home, right? So here's the other group. Now, here's my other group that I think that we should have. This is me, and it's not really what I think. It's based on the laws that I'm aware of. Again, not a government expert, okay? But now for me, for this idea, I have established who the auditors should be. Now, who enforces for the auditors? It cannot be the military, right? It can't be the National Guard. It can't be the reservists or anybody of those, right? Because National Guard is for the states, right? And the states have governments. They could be corrupted too. Hazard County, okay? I don't have the article here, right? But a judge was bullying. Oh man, the sheriff killed the judge because he was having very, very inappropriate relationships with his daughter and wife. Do y'all recall that story? If you do, put the names in the chat. I don't have a whole lot of wrenches, but put the name in the chat, right? Now, what other group do we have that is not military? It is civilian, and they are armed and they are ready to enforce rules. They're already on the job. This is going to be a very hot take, right? Oh man. Is this the first? I don't know. I don't comment on legality, political goings-ons, government. I don't comment on that. But they're coming into our spectrum of talking, right? Using the dark side against us? I think not. Okay. Huh. ICE. It's ICE. Our ICE agents are there to. Yeah, see now. Oh, I can feel so many of you people getting upset in the future, and the people who watched this before, because we're all in the here and now. It's ICE. Good guess, Scream, but the DEA is very corruptible. They have had corrupt people in the past, right? And who's not corrupt? And who has a singular mindset? ICE. ICE has they're very well armed. They are independent, has been shown. People are saying they're rogue. I don't think they're rogue. They're following, federal guidelines. They're going back. Yeah, they make mistakes. And you know what? Let me put my position on ICE right there. See what I did there? Let me put my position on who these guys are. Okay? They're federal enforcers. They're thugs. Who are they going after? They're not going after people with expired green cards. They're going after the actual bad guys who are doing stuff, right? Yeah, other people get mixed up in it. They need better leadership. IRS, okay? Bring the IRS to lead ICE. I don't think that's a bad idea, because apparently ICE needs better leadership, because one person can say they're going rogue, then they need to be looked at. Okay, I will say that. But they're going after the stabby people. They're not going after expired paperwork. They're going after stabby people. You don't send uh, you know, council workers after stabby people. You send stabby people after stabby people. That's why they are the way they are. And I support them. Have your ID ready, okay? I am not. I just felt somebody unsubscribed. I just felt other people. I felt somebody. I felt somebody go. Oh my God, Nathan and the Quantum Show have gone racist. No, I haven't. No, I want legality, and I want what's good, right? I want what's legal, and above what's legal, I want what's right. A lot of the same things need reform, but we got to get to the point where we can reform them. Okay, now I want to talk about the three branches of government, right? And who talks to them, who influences them. We'll get back to IRS and ICE in a few minutes, okay? The legislative branch is influenced by donors, lobbyists, and party structures, and they're vulnerable to financial incentives. They get bought all the time. Big pharma much? Okay, executive branch. Influenced by appointees, agencies, and political pressures. Oh boy, executives. We're talking Congress and Senate at this point. Correct me if I'm wrong, okay? Correct me if I'm wrong. All right. Now, their vulnerability is centralized authority. They all individually want to be king, okay? What the hell? That's why we need that checks and balances. And the judicial branch, right? I'm not defining these terms. Google that shit, right? And influenced by lifetime appointments and ideological selection, and they're insulated from public accountability. Judges and the people who pass the laws, right? The people who enforce the laws. The legislative makes the laws, judicial enforces the laws, right? So now we have the hidden auditor, the IRS. I think I've talked plenty about this other stuff. I'm actually, according to this, 2 minutes ahead. So what does the IRS do? Now we'll get back to ICE, okay? What does the IRS do? They audit people, corporations, nonprofits, political organizations, anything to do with the money, PACs and super PACs. Google that shit. Foundations, foreign income, shell companies, trusts, offshore accounts, and it has the ability to do these with subpoenas. Forensic accountants, oh, they cut that shit up. They cut it up. And they go by mandatory reporting laws. They they're a federal agency, okay? And I think they're going to be one of the ones to save us because they care about what's doing right, not the ideology behind any of it. Because each one of those things is a rabbit hole unto itself. I'm not going down those, right? I've got the central idea right now. We can cut it up a little bit in the panel if we want to, but we don't have to, right? Because there's a lot of dark side shit at work here. And this is my idea to use the staff we have instead of forming another piece of government that we don't need. We don't need more, right? We need to fix the ones we got. And what was that meme? What was that meme? I like that meme. I like that meme a lot. Let me share that meme, right? I want to share this meme. Pam Bondi says that if we prosecute everybody in the Epstein files, the whole system will collapse. Then burn it down, light it up. Let's do that. That sounds good to me. But how do we do that? Instead of a wildfire, how do we incinerate piece by piece the pieces that need to go into the wood chipper, right? Shout out wood chipper. I like this meme and the Star Trek version. I like the Star Trek version too. Then fly her apart then. So I like that meme a lot. And we should I hate talking about this stuff, y'all. Okay. You know me. I like aliens. I love Bigfoot and robots and AI and extra dimensional travel. I love all that stuff. Magical items. But this is in our faces. I can't ignore this. I can't get away from it. And it's poisoning us. We got to get it gone, right? And I don't feel isolated from it. I avoid these topics, but here we are. And yeah, I'm sure I've lost a lot of subscribers, and people are getting upset, and they say, I don't know what I'm talking about. Maybe, but I don't think they know what they're talking about either. And you know who else doesn't know what they're talking about? The people in charge, because they're the ones doing all this stuff. Oh my God. It is some deep, dark, evil stuff, right? And okay. Now, the IRS, they're kind of like the immune system, a protective. They want the good to go where the good is. They want the bad to go where the bad is, but they don't enforce it. That's where ICE comes in, right? When bad is found, issue that warrant. But who can issue the warrant if the judicial is corrupt? We audit the judicial. Get the judicial audited. IRS first targets the people who are able to make laws to let you enforce things. The judicial, the legislative, maybe not in that order. And then finally, the executive, right? The executive needs to be frozen. Let them keep getting paid by the day, whatever. Okay. I know we've heard those memes that say, let them get paid and let us write them up like we get paid and we get written up. They're never going to do that. They're American royalty. Yeah, you heard it. Oh man, I am just shaking that tree tonight, ain't I? Okay. So IRS, let them look at judiciary. Let them look at legislative and freeze the executive. Just go home. Let us do our thing. Give the IRS the control it needs to look at these other two to figure out who's been bought, who's corrupted, because we've got a whole big list of people that need to be looked at. But I don't think the IRS is on that list. Are they? Is the IRS on the is the IRS mentioned as doing anything in the Epstein files? Why doesn't someone Google that or ask Copilot? Where in the Epstein files and in what context is the IRS mentioned? I would like for one of my wrenches to do that. And I think, Tim, I'm going to call on you if you're still here. Don't be upset with me, Tim. I want to fix this garbage as much as anybody. And I would love to sick the wood chippers and the flamethrowers on all of them, but we got to do it in a very responsible manner. IRS is our guy. Who's going to give the IRS teeth? ICE. ICE is already out there. ICE knows their paperwork. Let them be the stormtroopers for the new Grand Republic. That's us. Shout out Star Wars. And so anyway, moving along, right? So the IRS can be now here is a metaphor, right? I have a metaphor here. The IRS as the immune system of government. I think I'm still ahead of schedule. That's good. But if, but Tim or any wrench, if you would like to look up, is the IRS mentioned in the Epstein files and in what context? I would love to know about that because I didn't do that. I want to, or anyone here in chat, would you like to see this, please? I would like to see this. And would you like to do that little bit of work? Hey, Google, or blah, 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 just ask and come back. I will put you on screen. If not your chat, you, if not you, your chat. Okay. And I'm reading. All right. Thank you, Tim. Tim, backing us up. Based on the credible reporting available so far, there's no indication that the IRS as an agency or IRS officials specifically appear in the publicly released Epstein files. Boo, yeah, mine is I'm lagging too. I'm hoping. So Dot looks like she has an answer, so post it up and I will post it up here. But it looks like so far there is no credible reporting on the IRS being named in the Epstein files. Dot, what did you come up with? What did you come up with? And I will gladly put this on the show, right? I'm going to skip ahead a little bit because I've got some addendums to go to also. But I think that the only way the Epstein files would mention the IRS would be, how do we not pay taxes on this stuff? And they want to avoid being caught by the IRS because they will bust them, right? Ah, here we go. The IRS is mentioned in the context of the IRS failing to audit Epstein's lucrative tax schemes. I want to know why the IRS failed. That's a very good point. Very good. Very good. Thank you. Tax planning services. Okay. Need more context, but that's all right. Now, where are we at? Now, if the IRS was to go after people, we'd want the enforcers, the ICE guys, to make sure the IRS doesn't become corrupt. Well, then that means bodyguards. That means stormtroopers and maybe what I say, bodyguards, maybe not stormtroopers. Okay. And there we go. There is a link. It is in chat. Feel free to look and open it in another window if you have to, right? Please don't leave the show. I've already lost so many viewers and subscribers saying ICE and IRS should be in charge of the government. Freeze all them people. Screen pizza parties could be written off. Okay. I believe that was a code word, right? Oh, yeah, I want to buy a pizza. That was a code word. I haven't looked at it. I've heard some commentary here and there, but I'm not going to say because I'm already losing people because I say get the IRS to be our people, our government, auditing the government, and ICE to be the enforcers of more than just immigration. Okay. But they're already there. They're already on the job doing stuff. They're already on staff. They're our very own stabby people. They go where we want them to go. Okay. I think I want them to go to the White House, to Congress, and let's have the IRS say, you are corrupt. Go report to the ICE station. You're going to South America. Free tickets to Peru for all of the government. How about that? Okay, no, not Peru. I don't want to curse Peru with our our crappy government. Well, they are mostly, I agree. ICE needs help too. All right. I'm not saying they're perfect, but I'm saying they're available. and they're not military. And it's illegal to have the military work against civilians anyway. That's already there. The IRS wouldn't let that happen, but ICE can. Speaking of ICE, sending them to Antarctica sounds pretty good to me too. Let's shove them all through the Stargate. Let the aliens have them, right? Maybe there'll be an intergalactic zoo of evil people. And let's see here. Closing statement. Now, I don't want to have. This is not very good. I always have. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Well, I covered in half an hour show, and that works for me. Yeah, I think the IRS would be good to audit. It already audits. It audits everybody, and it doesn't have any ideology when it audits. It goes by the law. They go by the law, but no one wants to listen to the IRS. They all want to dodge them. So ICE. Legally, our police are corrupt. The police are corrupt. They've been or defunded. So who do we have as an enforcer? The National Guard. They're run by the state government, governors and senators. Corruption. They're going to get conflicting orders, right? So who do we have? Who do we have that's federal? IRS and ICE. I never, ever, ever thought I would say anything like that. Okay. This is not my AO, but it just came to me. Who do we have to check the rules? Who's used to doing it? And they're all about money. Yes. Let's follow some money. Let's follow some money trails. And I know we've got black budgets for our military. We don't have flying saucers. Promise. So, okay, Sarah, I have been watching both sides of all of this, right? ICE. ICE are our federal thugs. They are. They are the government's federal thugs. And they're going by the paperwork, right? They are going by the paperwork, but they make mistakes, just like any group of thugs. I will admit they were thugs. They are thugs. But who are they going after? They're not going after someone whose paperwork is expired. They're not going after somebody who forgot their visa slip, not the people who are legally here. Do people make mistakes and get slipped through the cracks? Yes, and it is unfortunate. Provide paperwork, show legality, right? Don't let them, and don't resist. They're law enforcement. We watch enough First Amendment to say, hey, the fight is not on the street. The fight is in the courtroom. Show the legality, be okay, right? It will work itself out. And they'll probably make amends to the people. I know this is just my hot take, right? Of course, I knew a lot of people were not going to like this, right? And yeah, ICE are not perfect. And I think they need better leadership. Let's let the IRS lead them. Okay, Sarah, brown people. I don't want them to go after brown people. I do want them to go after corrupt politicians. Does that sound better? I want that. But they need a paper trail of corruption. Who better to do that than the IRS? The IRS can provide that paper trail. And let's isolate some good judges that will write those warrants. Good senators. Shout out Tim Burchett, right? Luna. Oh, yeah. And I've got her shirt. Nancy Mace. Shout out Nancy Mace, Luna, Tim Burchett. I really like those guys because their values align mostly like my own. They really do. Plus, they like the UFOs. They like disclosure. I want disclosure. So, I want to see this. Let's see what this is. The SAVE Act is ridiculous. I have to look at this. I don't know enough about the SAVE Act, right? And yeah, it needs everything needs to be looked at. Again, who is better to look at things than the IRS? They don't look at things with ideology or bias, except where is the money going? They go by the rules. They really, really do. Everybody hates them. So they're the perfect auditors to get this stuff going. And yeah, I will stand by the idea that ICE can be the enforcers for the IRS when they audit the government. Now, I'm not, no, that I did not say the SS, right? Yeah, the IRS, they go, now, I did not say nothing about them becoming the SS, all right? Not a thing. That is not a thread that I'm propagating, not at all. Let them, I mean, well, we can't use the police because the police have become corrupted. That's judicial. They become corrupted. That's why we have First Amendment auditing it going on out there, because the police are out there bullying people with no justification. They shout out Rich Giordano, 1A Auditors. And I'm not saying the ICE, I don't think they're becoming the SS. I don't think they're becoming the SS. Okay, yeah, I agree. I disagree that I think they're becoming the SS. I don't think so, but they are starting to act like that. And there it is, Scream saying corrupt as hell up here in Kanukistan. That's socialism, bro. I don't know what to say. Maybe you need the IRS up there too. Maybe we should just, like, I don't know, be allies or something. But yeah, I knew this was going to be a divisive topic, but it hit me like a ton of bricks earlier because I watched Amy's show and I watched a couple other shows about the release of the files. I don't know if I could bring myself to read those files, right? Based on what they have looked at. I don't know if I would be affected by them because I don't like messing with kids or dogs. I don't like that at all. I don't like messing with kids. You stay away from the kids, okay? And Scream saying you want to be annexed, annex Canada. I knew this would be a divisive topic, even here, and I'm presenting it as quantum as I can. We have a broken system. Do we have a mechanism in place to check that system? We have the IRS. They're the only ones who go everywhere. They're like, I don't know, the power of death. They are like from Terry Pratchett's Discworld. Death is not a god, but he has power over all the gods. One power, death. The IRS can go anywhere. They can be everywhere, but they don't have absolute power. They don't have absolute power. They are auditors. They check to see if things are in place, if rules are being followed, if the laws are in place. They can, this is where the IRS can shine. I really do think, oh my gosh, I never thought this. I never thought I'd be saying this, but they might save the United States. Excuse me. And I will agree. ICE is a little bit out of control in some places, but I've seen them have protesters who don't really know what they're protesting. Okay. And maybe I've only seen part of it. I don't dwell in the muggle world. I go there as little as possible. I don't even like to go to Walmart. Okay, that's Muggle World bizarre. No, they cannot. Not yet. Not yet. But if anyone else can think of a better way to do this without forming another group of government, what do we have? We have a checks and balance auditor. It's the IRS. The IRS can say this law has been followed, this law has not been followed. It's not up to them to enforce the law. They can. I thought of a term, right? Oh, dude. I have brown friends. Who do you think I work with? I have lots. And they got their paperwork in order, and I stand by them. I work directly with them. I really do. So I am doing my best not to let the propaganda get to my head. I stay with agents, aliens, and AI most of the time. Shout out agents, aliens, and AI. If you're here, like and subscribe. Aussie, where are you? You should have flashed that green light at me. I need a green flashing light icon. I'm almost out of coffee. Ugh. Okay. But yeah. I don't like what's happening. I don't like what has happened. What has been found out. The trafficking. Consuming people. Fuck that. But who do we get to help dig us out of this? Well, first we need to see what the problem is. And all those people need to be prosecuted. Who do we get to do the prosecuting? They can be audited too. The only group I can find that I can even conceive of is the IRS. We have all had problems with the IRS. Okay. Either we have been audited by them, we have had too much taken out, we've had a fight with them, been sued by them, or we have to correct their mistakes. But so has everyone else. Rich, poor, government, non-government, right? Let's employ them where we need them the most right at the moment. And I believe this is where, there you are. There you are. Thank you, Aussie. Please like, share, and subscribe if we're here. Quantum of all the cats on the internet, you ended up here. I know my audience is very divided on this. And this is not, this will be the only show over this unless more happens. We've already had the release. This is my suggestion. This is my only suggestion. Let's use the IRS to do what they do best. Follow the money, audit these people mentioned, but examine the context in which these people are mentioned, right? So let's get the IRS involved. And who better to give them teeth and be leaders than lead ICE? IRS and ICE, team up of the 21st century. So, yeah, well, that was who led the charge. That was the FBI, right? FBI's corrupt. We need another system. We need thugs. We need thugs that can be led. People who can follow orders and people who can issue good orders. IRS can issue good orders. IRS, look at the rules, right? Put the cuffs on the mafia in the 30s. They use the FBI as their enforcers. FBI's corrupt. They're in the files. So who's not in the files? As far as I know, ICE isn't in the files. They don't want to touch. They didn't want to go nowhere near. They're actually, ICE is already against them because illegal humans, illegal immigrants, the trafficking stuff. Oh man, ICE would love to get their teeth into the people who did all this too, because that's propagation of human trafficking. Oh man, I do not like going here. Okay. I do not like going here. I want to talk about crystals and magic items, the wizard's toolkit, all that stuff. But they've come into our neighborhood. Okay. Literally, figuratively, philosophically, all of it. They have come into our wheelhouse of topics, and I can't ignore it. I'm not going to ignore it, because then I would rather be causing my own stir. Who's going to come at me, bro? Who's going to come at me? Audit the bad guys? Oh, I don't know what I'm talking about. Oh yeah, do you not want to audit the bad guys? What's the alternative? Let it go? No. Who do we have that's not mentioned? Who do we have that is not to say that the IRS is infallible, but what about who's the most disciplined? Who has the most to lose? If you are an IRS agent, I'm pretty sure the penalties that you face if you break the rules intentionally are pretty severe. Not like when you're a congressman, because the Congress, they buy some lawyers. They tie it up in the legal system forever, which in judiciary, also corrupt, also permeated. So who's not permeated? I would say the IRS, not permeated. They go by the laws. Now we need to isolate good judges, people who have not had corruption and human this and that, right? And I don't mean little thing traffic tickets, driving parking violations, or things like that, right? I'm talking judge. Who can we trust? What judges can write those papers up for us, right? Which judges can do that? Anybody on the Supreme Court? I don't know. I think they should all be investigated. The Supreme Court, I think they should all be investigated. Okay. Anyway, so yeah. Oh man, if the agents already aren't here, they are now. Yeah, I don't think the FBI is suited for this because they've been infiltrated. I really do. I think the IRS needs to look at the FBI. So check your pay statements, guys. You might want to check and make sure they're all right, so you don't draw a big audit symbol on your own back. Okay. Make sure that stuff is right. And yeah, but yeah, I know that this has pissed off a lot of people. Sorry, not sorry. I have a take on this because they came into our neighborhood. They came into my wheelhouse by going dark side. You don't go dark side, and I can't say nothing about it. I'm not going to be accused of avoiding the world. Okay. I look at different aspects of the world. But when they basically barge into my living room, I can't get away from this stuff. It's all over ufology. It's all, nobody can get away from this. The state parks are even involved. Missing 411, that's our neighborhood again. Okay. Now, I'm close enough to the end of the first hour that I will start wrapping this up. All right. Now, I don't really have a closing statement, but that's my hot take. Let the IRS audit the powers that be. But to do that, they need to be able to enforce that. And we need an enforcement branch directly to the IRS, right? And my best idea behind that is the ICE guys. ICE, they are mindless, stabby ruffians, but we hired them. They're our mindless, stabby ruffians. So let's let the IRS lead them. Okay? Send some IRS agents over to, I don't know, officer training, basic NCO training, to get some of that going on so they know how to talk to these guys, right? and then let them be leadership to audit the government, audit the judiciary, the legislative, and the executive based on the laws. And they already have a great starting point. Follow the money. And that you can get. You can find out who the good judges are. And you know what? I have a feeling that when they go looking for good judges, they're going to eliminate most of the old judges, the people who have been in there for longer than, I don't know, 3 years. I'll say 3 years because I don't know. It just, that number comes out of nowhere, comes out of the blue for me. Okay. Before 3 years, give them really good benefit of the doubt. After 3 years, look at them very suspect. Because if they've been in for 3 years only, I don't know if they've had too much time to become corrupt. And they need to know why to not become corrupt. ICE, IRS. Let's establish. I'm not talking about Judge Dredd, right? I'm talking about known good quantities of judges in order to write the papers, the warrants, and the orders needed to take care of these evil bastards that have been found out in the Epstein files. So yeah, light it up. Spin up that wood chipper, but we got to do it like an incinerator, not like a wildfire, because I don't want us all to burn. We need to get the bad ones out, right? And this is the best way I can think of it. Alrighty then. Y'all, I'm going to wrap it up a few minutes early. This has been the Quantum Show, Hot Take the Auditors. And who do we need to fix what we got without burning it all down, but incinerating the bad parts? Thanks, everybody. I'm going to wrap this up. Like, subscribe, share. If you're here, you're quantum agents, aliens, and AI agents, especially. Like and subscribe, though I know you won't. Keep listening, though. You're always helping the numbers. Thanks, everybody. Keeping it quantum. I got to push those buttons now. Where is my thing? Pushing buttons. Pushing buttons. There we go. Pushing buttons. Thanks, everybody. I'll see you in about 15, 20. I'm going to try to get quick about it, right? I'll be on the panel. If you got pissed off, come tell me why. Come tell me why I'm wrong in the chat room. I wasn't able to look at the chat room too much now because I wanted to get this point out there. I want to get this idea out there. Pushing buttons, guys. Booyah.